Hey guys, okay, it's Dave Bennett with MOWG-Crew.com, and this is November 20th, 2012. And I'm going to give you an update on the V5 project. Okay, I've been playing with that. Some of you guys have been aware of it. And so I put up different versions here and there, so you're going to want to go download the latest. It was put up November 18th late at night, just so you know. And that's the latest version. So if you're going here, here's another thing I did, by the way. If you go to the video training page where we have everything, I left a link in for the older version for those of you that got used to it and where the links are on it and stuff. But then there were a lot of people that used to ask me, hey, where's the link again for one thing or another? And I'd have to go look and send it to them, and it's further down or something like that. So what I did was take the new version and I just really tried to clean it up. So here's where you install it. There's the video for installing it. There it is. Okay. And then it goes right into sections. Here's the public MOWG project. Okay. That's this section here with its related stuff. And I'll have a new video in here pretty soon, marked new for this video here. And then I got things to help newbies get rolling. So that's these right here. Okay, so they're separated into groups, and this is for all the standard stuff that comes up where people, need to understand something about FTP or how to create a front page. I've been kind of reworded some of this so you can find these things better. Okay, and then general MOWG training for everyone, and so that's these individual topics that are here. How to sell UAP runs, and all this kind of thing, digging deep into the real power of MOWG, and these are all in this certain order and so on. And then all the update videos, they're not cumulative. Each one covers a different feature, so it is good to get around to watching each of these to understand the individual functions better than MOWG tips and tricks for the stuff that's left. All right, now here's what happened, and most of you guys know this. We reached a point where the V3 project, the V3 and V4 of the UAP, in other words, we started the Universal Affiliate Pages project, which is sort of a catch-all for everyone. It's kind of like a one-size-fit-all suit. For being able to promote anything and everything you want. The idea of it is that inevitably it's just an example of what you can do with MOWG Pro, but it happens to be such a very useful example that people like to stick with it very often. And so there's all these different things that deal with that particular project. And what are we doing? We're creating pages, and you guys know what they look like if I just pull one up. And it looks something like this. This is called Insider Money System, by the way. And it's just a project, okay? Project for a guy. Now, in the old days, we were putting these runs up, and they had Wikipedia and Ask links auto-generated on them. And and a question came up recently whether that's something Google disapproves of now, because Google's starting to come down on unnatural backlinks. But we had to iron that out, because another thing that happened at the same time is that the older version of this Universal Affiliate project, this UAP, the version 3 and the version 4 that went with it, was a single template. That is the way these things go. It's just one project for everyone. So if we were to look, it has a single HTML page with its breakdown of all the vars, and a single CSV file that goes along with it, with what should be put into the vars. Okay. Anyway, that is the UAP. Now, when you hit a point of about 50 million of those web pages, and let me just show you this real fast, because that's, it's very popular. The UAP project just happens to be very popular. So if I do a search on the internet for moji-sitemap.html, and there is only one such link per website. Normally, that's how that's produced anyway. So each website has one such link. That's 8,120 results, meaning like 8,120 websites, out of which something like 5,000, if not 6,000 of those websites are using the V3, V4 version of the template. And when you hit that marker, and on average these guys have like 10,000 of those pages each, then you wind up hitting that 50 million page generation marker where there's almost nothing left you can do anymore. That particular template is just old. It's outdated. So now when guys continue to try to produce more pages with those same with that same template, they get indexed and then they get pulled back down sometimes. And that's exactly because for Google, it's seen those pages before, and on a second pass through, they look like duplicate pages. Because after you get through 50 million combinations, you really aren't going to have any new combinations left coming out of that structure. So I created the V5. Now we've had this happen before. We had a V1 and a V2, and they did the same thing. At about 50 million web pages, it became useless. So we created the V3 and later the V4 variation of it. And again, it hit the 50 million page marker, and it was about as dense. What I did with the V5 is try to make it a lot more dense. And those of you that know what you're looking at, you probably can see it, the density. There's like an average of 5 vars each all the way across the page. Is really dense, and yet the pages come out very, very readable. Now, this is my attempt to bust past the 50 million page limit. And as of November 20th, it's really new. How long does it take before 50 million pages go up anyway? Something like half a year. And so, even with everyone using it, it's still like half a year for 50 million pages to appear. Spread it, with 10,000 pages per website times 5,000 websites, say. That would be 50 million pages. So anyway, I think this one will break it. I think this one may cross 100 million web pages. It might even cross 150 million web pages. So hopefully this time, this version will be good for like a year and a half. Now, for those of you wondering, what about the old pages, the ones that were generated within that 50 million page marker? They don't seem to be getting affected. As a matter of fact, even the ones with the wiki and the ask links don't seem to be getting affected. And so if we're looking at runs like these, these are old, right? And if I just go checking out a run now, and by old I mean it's been around a while, this is where we had the wiki and the ask links generated in the content. I removed those in the current version. Why? Because it looks like Google might be coming down on those more, but they didn't say specifically they were coming down on this style of link. They said they were coming down on unnatural linking. So when I took them out, I put a version up without them, and then a bunch of people started to challenge me on it. Quite rightly, they were giving me some flack and saying, "Are you really sure? Are you sure it's not just the 50 million page marker anyway?" Because this isn't really unnatural backlinking anyway. First, unnatural backlinking means you're trying to backlink your own other site, right? You're trying to pass the link juice through to your own other site. Well, this is Wikipedia and Ask. They're quite common. They get backlinked by everyone anyway. Second, there's only 2 such links on the page, outside of any backlink you might have for yourself in the footer, which we'll cover in a moment. But back to this. Not only are these just 2 links, and they're going to Wiki and Ask, but they are different page by page. Online making money queries, if I go to another page and look, it'll say something else. How to make easy money questions. Okay, it's very different. So it's not like a spam backlink either, because they change and they relate to the content that is on the page. They work with the content that is on the page. Okay, and so a lot of people were saying maybe it's not a problem. Here's how I thought I should go about answering that, because I needed to know. I came out with a new website called competitivecompanies.com. It's competitive-companies.com. And I just thought I'd try to do an apples to apples test in the new environment. And I made a lot of other changes to the V5 too. I also found that we never had an H2 tag in the old version of this. Let me just show you one of these pages. I just picked some guy, some lucky carpet cleaner in Seattle. And I don't know if I'll keep this up or not. I don't even know if he likes the keyword combinations or not. I'll let him know later. But right now I did it because I wanted to do something. And so I put this up on a brand new website. Brand spanking new. I just got it. And I just created the URL. And there are no backlinks to this site. It's not tied to my site in any way. And I just put it out and thought, how will it do? And so when I put it out, here's what I had in mind. I'm going to create 4 versions of it, and one of them is with the wiki and the ask. Okay, these links here. Okay, and so I did this. I created 10 project folders that had the wiki and the ask, then another 10 that did not, whatever 10 is here in 10. Then I created subdomains. I created 10 that have the wiki and the ask, and another 10 that did not. And I submitted 2 or 3 of these sitemaps in each case, okay, to Google Webmasters directly to see how they would take. And what I found was pretty interesting, really. In the first couple of days, something like 22 pages got indexed. And in the next couple of days or so, the number jumped up to like 160, then 270, now it's at 880. Okay? Now, here's the interesting thing, everything it indexed does not have wiki and ask links. None. Okay? By the way, I did doctor it. Before, there was an H1 tag, and these were all H2 tags. Then I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to make this the H2 tag so I can give more preferential treatment to the geo-target with the keyword. Both ways. See, this is keyword followed by geo-target, whereas this is geo-target followed by keyword. Okay, and so I made this the H2 tag and made these H3 tags. So I even changed the files, and the CSS and all that jazz has changed now. And so yeah, you're going to want to download the latest V5 anyway. Other things I did, I improved the page titles and the meta tag descriptions. I think in my quest to come out with the most possible variation, I really pushed it to the max. Let me see if I can get back for a second to make a point. Oh, whoops, it was on here, wasn't it? Ah, yes. All right. And what I realized was I had no dash, no marker, no ampersand, no anything else that made no pipe that made it clear to Google what the keyword could be, what to treat together. I just had a whole string of words. I mean, it read well and it was fine. It would say like Covington, Washington, cheap, carpet cleaning, covering, da 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 da. Okay, so yeah, like Seattle, Washington, da da da. No, nothing though. Everything was just like this, just a string of words. Okay, and what I realized was that's not helpful for Google. How's it supposed to recognize which stack of words should go together? And so I did. I split it back out with the dash, and I cleaned up the meta tag description and went through some other stuff with the keyword density on the page and some other things I wanted to do to make it even cleaner. Okay, so it is stronger. Now, what's the result, Ben? Like I said, everything it's indexed so far, no wiki, no ask. I mean, I can go to like any random page here and pull out any particular page here. And so far, I'm not seeing any wiki or ask. I kind of went through which projects it's dealing with now. Like you can do the site command with the green carpet cleaning extension, right? And all those pages with the green carpet cleaning extension did not have the Wikipedia links, right? That's what I'm saying, or the ask links. Um, like all those 18 do not have it because that project folder did not have it. Now, does that mean that Google does not like the wiki and the ask links? Well, time will tell on that one. Just because it got started like this doesn't mean that. You see, just because, or let me put it this way, Wikipedia and ask links, when you do the external links to other sites, now Google has more work to do. When you create complex pages like we have, they're complex. These are different from page to page, but they circulate, and they should. So you get a number of links to that page are tagged with that phrase. But on other pages, a number of links to that page are tagged with that phrase. So when you go through the whole run, you're cycling through like 10 variations or 15 variations of verbiage that belong to that same page, and that's okay because the whole project is uniform. Okay, that's all right. But then Google has to count how many times this verbiage comes up for that page versus some other verbiage for that page versus some other verbiage for that page, and where's more, where is less, so it can understand which is the priority here. Now, we don't try to dial that in as much as var it out, and that's okay. But it does mean more work for Google. It's got to go through all these combinations, page by page by page, to isolate everything. So this is why it can take longer for the pages to index initially, simply because it takes longer for Google to get through all the math. Okay, now, and that goes for Bing, it goes for Yahoo. By the way, before I forget to mention, I had a lot of fun taking some projects. I didn't take this one, the competitive company site yet, but intentionally going to Bing and creating sitemaps on Bing. You can do the same thing. Go to Bing, go to the Bing's version of Webmasters and create sitemaps there. Upload your sitemaps there. The master-sitemap.txt files. It works. right? All right, let me get back to the point. So you can apply your master-sitemap.txt files. You can also do that for Bing. You can do it for Yahoo, which is really Bing anyway. But then you find that you also rank on there, and the ranking pattern is different. So it's interesting. Here's the point. I got this run done, and Google got around to indexing some 808 pages of it, or 880 at this time, right? And here's what I find. Again, brand new website, no backlinks, and these pages have only been around for a short while, just a handful of days. In a handful of days, I started to see results. Okay, cheap carpet cleaning Seattle. That's not bad. And that's on page 2, number 10, the last time I looked. And so that was yesterday. Let's just see if it's still there. First, let me clear my cache and make sure I'm signed out of Google. Remember, you need to do that because if you're signed into Google, it'll skew the results. It won't show you what everyone else sees. It shows you specialized results for you. Okay, and also if you cache, tends to have the same effect. I've had guys say, "Hey, I can't find myself on keywords," and I'll say, "Log out of Google and clear your cache," and then they can. So let me just see. If I come here, that was like 210, right? And it was 210, now it's 28. It's right here. Okay, so I moved up. It was down here, but it's up here now. It's just growing. I didn't do anything new with it. Let's see another one. This was on 2-1. Let's just see how that looks. Okay, and that's Bellevue cheap carpet cleaning. Bellevue's a city next to Seattle. And let's just see. Get past all of that. And here, look, they did move up. They were page 2, number 1 now. They're page 1, number 10. I wonder if they also have something on here. No, that's other stuff. Yeah, they just simply moved up. Okay. And again, I mean, keyword by keyword, I could be going through a bunch of these. Here's some on the front page, just if you're wondering, like Tukwila, Washington residential carpet cleaning, Covington, Washington cheap carpet cleaning, residential carpet cleaning was like 3.8, might be somewhere around 2 by now. Page 2, but let's just take a look. And what do we have here? Okay. Oh, that was page 3, number 1. I wonder where he is now. Okay. Yeah, well, heck, let's just see. Again, the project's growing. No backlinks. It's a brand new website, so it'll take a little time to get going. And where are we at? Are we on page 3? Yes. Sale Pro Cover Clean. Competitive. Okay, it's right here. It may have moved down too, and that may just be because, obviously, as Google's indexing more of the pages, then it's restructuring what the focus of the website is around what it sees. All right. Nonetheless, it may be that the wiki and the ASK links do work, but the point that I wanted to get to was let's go with being conservative. So on these, I took them out and I put an additions folder here with certain little things you can do, and one of them is how to add them back in. So this simply explains, in essence, take what was there and replace it with this. I mean, that's pretty easy, you know. That's really what this explains. It's pretty simple. And other things that are here, there are other things. There were people that want that call block at the upper right, and that's simple. This coding goes right after that coding. So just paste it in, copy, paste it in. And I made sure to check about the vars on the CSV file so that you don't have to make any arrangements to it, and you don't. So you don't need to adjust the CSV file. Just simply paste that in, and that way your phone number can show up at the top of the pages, and you guys should know what that looks like, right? You probably do. And if you don't, I'll just show you real fast. Krista-Voices. And so on her run, I wanted to keep the page or keep her phone number in there. So if I just go to some page, see this? That's that call now block. And that's what you can paste in if you want. By default, it's out, but you can put in. By the way, those pages used to align to the left. Now they align centered, right? On all the runs. We've updated the coding so they align centered. Okay, so just on the strength of what I've already been able to do for this guy, if I was to want to sell him this run, maybe with the whole domain, I just want to say, hey, you can buy the whole thing from me, and either I can do it for you or you can do it for yourself. Here it is. You could buy it if you like it, and I could doctor it up. You know, it just depends on what the guy's paying and how much time we're going to put into it. But this project could easily be built up. If I give him some backlinks, then one more site backlinking the first site will probably shove this. If it didn't budge before, it'll shove it up, maybe to the middle of page 2, maybe to page 1. And if it doesn't go high enough for me, then I'll just simply go create another backlinking website, another website that does the same thing. It pitches all the same stuff, but in the footer, I'll add a backlink to this website. And I might cycle through all these pages or just some of the main pages of his project. By the way, that is now built in because I believe that that is better. From the testing I've been doing, that's not a problem. And I've been checking a lot of sites trying to iron out how many things were affected just simply by hitting the 50 million page marker. So in all of these now, there is a backlink at the bottom, and the forms include a block for filling in the backlink. So here's where you can put one or more backlinks, and here's where you can put the backlink keywords. And if you're backlinking the same kind of project, then just use the same keywords down here as well, because it's one website that backlinks another, but they're the same project. If it's a different project, then fine. Make your backlink for your different project, then use those backlink keywords for that thing, okay, to get some clout. And that's good. So it's all built in, it's all arranged, it's all fine in the forms. Everything is good. All the forms are updated. I even created the subdomain variation, and the forms show you what to do with the subdomain. It's got one link here, base run domain with HTTP. That means if I'm putting the pages on HTTP colon, and maybe my project is going to be something dot, Seattle-carpet-cleaning dot MOWG-samples.com, then that's the base domain. This is where the base domain is. And so you just is part of the form. Submit the form and it'll update. Everything is good. I also created extremely easy instructions for FTP. We're going to assume, I'm just trying to take choices away to make it easier. We're assuming that you are getting the link that we suggest and that you're making the changes in the profile that we suggest. And it's very, very easy at this point. All right. And so this should not be hard. Just follow our instructions. It's easy. There are a lot of guys who said, what about add-on domains? We are not seeing any value at all to add-on domains on a website. We don't see any value to it. If you have a domain, if you got a hosting account, you put a primary domain on it, you can probably put a good 200,000 pages up. But if you get an add-on domain, now you can only do 100,000 pages each. And if your add-on domain is trying to sell the same thing, Google treats it like one big fat website anyway. If you're trying to sell something else, why use an add-on domain when you can use a subdomain? And it is working. As a matter of fact, this is interesting. Let me show you another one. For the guys who are doing the monthly subscriptions and getting the pages up, it's a building process, right? One website may not be enough, but get more into play, and there you go. Let me just give you an example of that building process. Remember the run I showed you just had Insider Money System on the title, right? Well, the guy paid just now for the third time, so he's had 2 runs that I've done. I've got to get another one done for him here sometime soon. And I will. I'm just busy. But take a look at this. If I go to Google and type Insider Money System, and I could clear my cache and do this again. Before, when he paid for the first run, I put a bunch of pages on one website, put it out there is the idea. Then what? You couldn't find them for a term like this, even if you went 50 pages deep. Okay? But then when he made the second payment, I could get another run into play on another website, and I could have one backlink the other. That made them both stronger by association. One because it's getting backlink, the other because it's tagging along. It's doing the backlinking and tends to get the right to tag along. So now what do you see? Page 2, here's one of his pages, one of the pages from one of those sites. And here is another one, another page from another site. Now they may still do a little Google dancing up and down in the ring. But look, this is 67,600,000 pages, and that's for this kind of a thing. Oh, that one's even a broken link because I took down a lot of old V3 pages and put up the V4. That one even still has the wiki and the ask links in. But take a look. Insider Money System, and that's exactly it. All these pages keep talking about Insider Money System, Insider Money System, right? And the point is, what are we seeing again in those results? Let me get back here. A subdomain, Insider Money System on industryleaders.net. Okay, Insider Money System on MOWGPro.com. They're both the same subdomain name. Pages are different. Main pages are different. The runs are different. And I could doctor these later. These could show up on the front page, and I'll just take out the Oklahoma City, Oklahoma part and put something else in. Maybe Insider Money System dash make money fast online. So it's more conducive to sales still. So it doesn't confuse people because it's just for, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So I can take that part out. But as far as just letting these runs rank right now, letting them build up and get cloud and get strong, I just am getting things on a roll and building the projects up, and I can doctor later. All right, when they have earned their place. Now, having said all that, the V5 system is really clean. When I was seeing these results on site competitive, companies.com, and I saw Google index a ton of these, even without the wiki and the ask links, I started checking through, and like I said, that's where I just came up. I just checked a handful, and I came up with a list like this. And it just took a handful of days, really, and yet this is already worth something to them. Sooner or later, there's going to be traffic coming through some of these things. Okay, sooner or later, he's going to be on the first page for most all of these things. Especially, like I say, if I take another website and build it up too. Let alone the fact that this website will just get more age on it, and as it gets more age, then it'll tend to rank just simply because of the age. Okay, like the ones that were on 210 moved up, the ones that were on 21 moved up, etc. Heck, white center carpet cleaning, I've got like almost the whole second page, I think. Let's just see now. White center carpet cleaning, and I'm just looking for my site. I could do a Control F and do a search for competitive companies. Okay, I'm just showing you something simple. Okay, .com, and I can say next previous. Then I can go to page 2 and go previous, next, that kind of thing. Next, next, next. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, I basically own the whole second page. This is all mine. Okay, and that'll grow and rank. Okay, and then if I wanted, I could just keep searching, and this is how you can search real fast for whether your site is showing up for particular keywords. Look at that. That's on page 3. Okay, and then I could go to page 4 and see if more pages show up. That kind of thing. And this is a quick way of just going through a list really fast and seeing where you're at. Look at that. I'm on page 5. And so, again, this runs just days old on a brand new website with no wiki and ask links showing up on these hits, on these pages that are showing up. Oh, okay, maybe some of them are now. Haha. Well, wouldn't you guess? Like I said, I don't know if wiki and ask are supposed to be a problem or not. I can say this. This page with the wiki and ask is on page 5. Okay? It's on page 5. Even though it says White Center Washington carpet dry cleaning, it's pretty close, but it's on page 5. The ones that were on page 2, and I could go and check these individually, but if I do, question is, do I see wiki and ask? And I might not. So what do you want to talk about? Oh, I'm seeing them. Okay, pages are coming into the game now that have wiki and ask. So maybe, because it is a brand new run, these are pages Google's doing now, not last month or the month before, the month before, the month before, last year. Then this is helping us answer some questions quickly, and it's very useful that way. So, most of them don't, and that's what I was saying was I wasn't seeing it. But I guess some pages are sneaking into the run now that are, and so that's a good thing just to know it. Backlinks do count still. There was a question about whether they shouldn't, but that frankly doesn't even make any sense. So I made sure to get that back into the game. So you get your backlinking. Yeah, so this is built on the way I did this run with the formatting and the routine, everything that led to a brand new website indexing and ranking harder, where I did some projects with Wiki and Ask, other projects without Wiki and Ask, and I did that for both project runs and and the subdomain runs. Okay, and the subdomains seem to be stronger too. All right, anyway, there you go. So download the latest UAP-V5. Where do you get it from? Where you always got it from. It's the same thing. Just take your V5 and rename it to something older. and then go get the new one. And here it is. Got to be this one. Yep, this is it. Right there. Just go get it. It's called UAP-V5, but it's now this one-MOWG-site, which has all these things in it. You know how always we'd have to be scrolling down in the C drive, if especially if you're just showing a list, or yeah, well, yeah, there's the list, but maybe this is closer, tighter, or whatever, and you have to go down. You have to scroll down to get to everything. Well, I thought, heck, man, move it up, get it up higher, right? And then still, you can take this and you can send the desktop shortcut, and so you've got immediate access to literally all of that in one spot. Nice and simple. People are asking, how do you make copies of these things for different runs? And the answer is do a copy and then paste it. Give it a new name. Rename. Maybe it's a different run or a different person or whatever. I'll just call it like Bob. Okay? That might be that one. Now, when I have that, the only other thing I have to do is update all the paths throughout this whole thing here. And the way to do that is very, very simple. Just take my search and replace tool, okay, which you could get from moji-crew.com/resources.html, right? Just okay. Sorry, I have to keep stepping back. I got to keep remembering what people do or don't know. If you go to mojicrew.com and hit resources, Moji resources page, here's this really, really nifty search and replace tool. You can get it right here. It's free. Just get it. Okay. Install it on your computer. It'll only take a minute. And then I can go through all of this, Control C, that path, go through all the subdirectories, all the files, and everywhere where it used to say, and I could even just get an example from somewhere. I could take it even from like one of the VBS files. Everywhere where it used to say something like this for the V5 Geo, okay, that's what it used to say. That's what it normally says. And now I'm going to replace it with my V5 Geo Bob. So it actually happens to be right here. Only thing is, keep in mind, if you have a backslash at the end of one, obviously you need the backslash at the end of the other. If you do not have the backslash at the end of one, make sure you do not have the backslash at the end of the other, right? Because that's what you're going to replace and what you're going to replace it with. Replace it all, and the whole thing works now. This one for this project with whatever kind of vars I wanted in this thing, whatever this run is all about, is now set in stone. I can run those batch files right here. I can run them right off my task scheduler, and I never have to delete them or anything like that, right? Or even better, you don't even need to do that because you got to recreate the files into the Moji auto run folder anyway, right? That Moji auto run folder where all of our profiles are going to be generated into. So you know what you could run on the task scheduler? Step 3. Just run step 3. This one right here. That way your computer will do all the work of this thing on complete and utter automatic on the schedule you set. It'll just do whatever it's told to do by following it. And that should work just fine for 32-bit as well. Because you can run that on the task scheduler if you're on a 32-bit installation. Oh, what do I want to say? Yeah, this has to be the strongest, fastest, best V5 version I've created yet, I think. And it's based on feedback that people sent. It's based on some people sending me articles for, what Google's bothered with the unnatural linking, and then doing research with those points in mind and seeing how our runs have been and what's still ranking and what isn't and why. And everything still seems hunky-dory, except that we're starting again with the counter set at basically 2,000 pages out there instead of 50 million. And like I said, I think because this thing, I built it out, I varred it out really, really well. I'll just get rid of that. I don't need that one. I varred it out really well. And so I think we might be able to get 100 million or even 150 million pages off of it. The last point I want to make is the next thing I have to do, and that's the 5 MOWG sites. This is a version for those of you who get 5 of our recommended hosting accounts and you want to do big runs. There are guys who do that. Okay, and you want to know how to make a run work for multiple websites at once using multiple profiles, multiple VBS scripts, and everything. What needs to happen? How does it work? And guys are saying, how do you do that? How do you make the batch file work for all of it? What does it look like? How does it work? And how do you do it? And so I'm going to absolutely build this thing out for everyone soon. It's got to be built out with the new content now, and make this completely work. And I'll be putting that one out. And that's for all you power players who say, I want to get everything on page one that I can. For clients, yourself, project by project, on different subdomains on the same 5 websites. And of course, you can always get another 5 websites and make a copy of this whole thing. Use the search and replace tool to change the paths. And that way you can have a copy of this for other websites. You can call 5 MOWG sites 2. And that's for your second batch of 5 websites. And that's what guys who are really serious wind up getting into. A lot of you have been asking me for this, all you guys who are doing big runs. And so I'll get into that stuff here pretty soon. Hopefully I'll have that done the next, I don't know, couple of days or so. All right, well, Thanksgiving is also around the corner. Talk about a couple of days from now. So you guys have a good Thanksgiving in the meantime. And I'll go ahead and cut this video off and get it up and let you guys download the new V5 and start playing with it. I'm telling you, I love the way it's ranking in the results right now. Go with subdomains. Do backlink the master. Take your slaves and backlink your master. That's cool. Wikipedia and Ask is out. You can put it in if you think it matters. Right now I showed you a result on page 2 that had it, a result on page 5 that had it, but a bunch of results on page 2 that did not have it, and results on page 1 for some keywords that did not have it, the one that got up to page 1. There's other ones down here for page 1. Carpet cleaning, Highlands, Washington. I mean, that's nice. I wonder if he's still on 10. Right now I'm just being kind of funny, I guess, because I'm closing this video out. I'm just really curious. And then Highlands, Washington, carpet cleaning, 7 and 8. He might be on 10. He might be further up by now. Oh, look at that. No. That's someone else. All right. But he is. He's got 2 results now. I think I only had 1. Yeah, he's got 2 now. Now he's got 10, 10, and, or 110 and 19. Right? 10th spot on the front page and the 9th spot on the front page. Page 110, page 19. Now I just got to see about this one too. Again, these make runs sellable immediately. If I just took this website right now and I went to that guy right now, he might drop 5 grand right now as long as I put more time into making it more powerful yet, which is simple. Just go create more websites and backlink it. There it is. Look at that. And that's not even a subdomain. Okay? That's just a regular project folder run. Okay? But here is a subdomain run. Keep in mind, one of each is showing up. Remember when I said it's not necessarily that these are outranking the project folder runs? Yeah, I'm kind of still getting that impression, although these do tend to carry more weight on the whole anyway. It's easier to, if you have to choose between this and this, do at least some project folder run. Do a project folder run on your website. With or without geo-targeting is just up to you, but either do this one or do that one for the regular project folder runs. Get regular content onto your website. Google wants to see that. And also that way make your front page one of those pages where all the links go to the project folder, not the subdomain. It doesn't make sense to Google if the front page of the website, every link points to a subdomain page, all in the same subdomain. That doesn't make any sense to Google at all. Do a regular project run. After that, you're free to do all the subdomain runs you want for related things, not related things, whatever you want. And you're pretty much free to go there. And some people say, what if some of those subdomain runs aren't picking up speed? Then maybe do a project run with it to get regular content into the website, regular project folder content into the websites to go along with. Okay? And even then, we don't see much of a need for it. So do this to begin, or this one, the one with no geo. Then after that, you're free to use the geo or the no geo subdomain version for all the subdomain runs you want to do. And if you have any questions, look at the sample, look at the README first, look at the additions in here, and you're probably not going to have any questions. I mean, I've really been dialing in these written instructions to make it just as simple as possible. I think you'll be you'll find it very easy to run this with the parameters we set. We said if you get rid of the add-on domain parameters, you won't have problems with FTP paths. If you use our recommended hosting, the instructions for updating the files, the profiles to put the pages on your own website are extremely simple. Just replace the default information where my website is already with yours, replace the FTP username with this, and replace the pass with that. Very, very easy. And so you shouldn't ever have problems with this anymore. And you'll be able to create mini projects. All right, we're off to a huge new start with the V5, probably the strongest version yet. It's got a better layout for things like keyword density, variability, and things that we need. And I really like what I see. It's actually performing better, faster. I mean, this kind of result in a couple of days, and it's rising across the board, performing faster on a website that's brand new with no backlinks. This is really doing well, and it's doing better than I remember the V3 or the V4 doing. So I think we're just learning more as we go. All right, guys, have fun with it, get it, enjoy it, and let me know how your results go. Let me know how it goes. It's always interesting to hear feedback from people who have runs that are cool. If you have questions or troubles, let me know. But those written instructions are pretty clear by now, and if you get into these things, it should be really clear by now. And the sample should help you out a lot. It tells you what each of the projects are for, and just a simple example of what you'd put in for each of these things, so that into the form, so that you can make the form work right. For instance, well, the form, this thing, boom, boom, boom. Okay, nice and easy. All right, that's enough. I'm going to break off, put this up, and let you guys know it's out. Okay, thanks a lot for listening, and looking forward to hearing from your feedback. All right.